And Charlie, you can get going.
Thank you, Diana. And welcome once again, everybody, to another episode of Connector Corner. I'm Charlie Greenberg. I'm the product marketing manager for integration service. And once again, we're going to highlight a specific pre-built connector that is currently available in the connector catalog for integration service. Today, the spotlight is on our Jira connector and also our ability to infuse generative AI into an automated workflow. So we're going to present something that's fairly straightforward, but is also truly an essential AI use case. So what we're going to do is show you how Jira and OpenAI support service issues in multiple languages. And speaking of support, another shout out to Diana Gray, our community marketing manager, for all her help. And back again, I have the pleasure to reintroduce our subject matter expert, senior product manager, and today's demoer in chief, Samrat Datta.
Thanks, Charlie, for the introduction. And before we go ahead with, showcasing what we plan to, um, I would like to first extend my warmest welcome to all of you who have joined us. Um, and over the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to take a look at how generative AI and RPA mixes well together in order to, work better, communicate better, and, bring innovation, more innovation to your businesses. Whether you are an aspiring enthusiast or a seasoned professional, or just curious to understand how Gen AI can help RPA or go in hand in hand with RPA, uh, this webinar kind of promises you to, promises that you have an educational experience, because we are going to build stuffs live. Even though 5 minutes back I saw we had an outage in production, so we should be able to explain how to build workflows for the specific use case. But overall, it's going to be an educational one. Okay, so coming to the Jira connector, what's the USP, right? And what's the value? So it helps any team, to be honest, that uses Jira to manage and track their projects. But to name some, software development teams, right? You can automate your repetitive tasks such as creating issue or updating issue assignment, status updates, issue transitions, maybe from GitHub to Jira. Project managers can leverage task assignments, notifications to when tasks are being done, ensuring that all of the team members stay informed where the tasks are at in a particular given time. Uh, Similarly, IT operations team, they can automate ticket creation, assignment of those tickets, ensuring timely responses, basically all the while enhancing the ticket management experience. Why is it useful? I think it's pretty clear, because you get effortless efficiency, because you can build your workflow simply with the curated activities we have built so far, which actually is very, it's set differently, to be honest. Any business users can go and play around. It's very intuitive. Um, and we also have the JQL support within our Jira activity pack. If you know your Jira query, it should be pretty easy, and you can rapidly, build integrations on top of the Jira queries that you have or you might be aware of. And also with the Jira, activity pack, we bring the add issue comment. So definitely there's going to be the collaboration is going to get maximized. Also, we since this is a product managed connector from integration service, we promise to bring in continuous improvement to all these activity packs and connectors that we maintain. That's pretty much about it. Thanks, Charlie, for going to the next slide. About the key features, uh, these are all that's available within our Jira activity pack, which is a version 6.1.0. We released this in 6th June 2023. Now, as you can see, it has got many curated activities like um, issue transition, update issue, create issue, adding attachments to issue, search issue. So all of it is listed over here. I guess Charlie and Diana, they are going to share this with you. But if you go to integration service page also, you should be able to see all this in one single page. Okay, now coming to the use case, it's a real world use case. And at least I have seen this in our organization, because a lot of times our customers are not comfortable uh, speaking or writing in English because they belong from a different geography. And when that situation happens, it's always very cumbersome to kind of understand what the customer is requesting support for via emails. And then from that email, you have to scrape the data and then create Jira tickets, even reply to your customer, with, uh, with with the language they are in the language they are comfortable with, right? So basically, the use case is all about when a customer emails me for a support request. Um, in Japanese or German or be it any language, we want to translate the content of the email using generative AI and obviously to English or any language my engineering team understands. And then we are going to send out a reply to that customer in the language they are comfortable in, saying that, hey, we have received your request and we are working on it. It is a Jira ticket ID, right? That's what the intent is, but you can obviously tweak it according to your needs. But this is just an example. So with that, I will ask for, thanks, Charlie, for giving me the permission of sharing screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So I'm inside Studio Web Cloud. This is production environment. We are going to start right away with creating a new project to build this process. So let's name it demo connector corner. Create. Okay, so obviously we're going to switch it to an event-based trigger. And for that, we are going to choose Outlook, email received. And like I said, I think Studio a bit is not holding up, but okay, it was slow, but it brought me the activity. Okay, so what we're going to do next is select my email folder where I expect the emails to come. So let's say I choose inbox. Just a sec. Save. Okay. I'll also choose an additional filter. Basically, I want to filter out um, the emails that's from my email address. In your case, this can vary, of course. So I put my email address in there. And next we are going to dive into the OpenAI activities. So let's say I can search with OpenAI here. I'm gonna select generate chat completion activity. Kind of weird since it, okay, it loaded. Let me come back to this project. Generate chat completion. Okay, it loaded. Okay, to save some time, I have my prompts ready. So that we are a little quicker. So the first thing that we are going to do is detect the language of the email, right? So I'll just open expression editor and just give this prompt, tell me the language used in this text in one word, of course. And I am going to choose the body of the email. Okay, great. Let's name it accordingly. So we will say detect language.
And as you chose body preview instead of body, is that important?
I mean, you could have also chosen subject, to be honest, but it's just making sure that whatever variable you are using in here that has a language other than English, right? So that's what we did, and next we are again going to select the same activity, and this time we are going to translate it. So let's say translate subject to English. And again, I have my prompt ready here. So let's copy and paste it. It says generate, just a sec, generate the following text in English. And if it is in English, keep it the same, because we never know. I mean, an automation must work for all cases. So that's the intent here. And all we are going to do is, since this is the subject, we are going to select subject here. Actually, we can just search for subject and it should work.
And
We
do
are
we by
going to
chance have
do,
an option to use a conditional here to say, if not English, then do this stuff, or is that not something we can do?
yeah, so it all depends on how you are prompting OpenAI, right? Because if you look at the prompt, generate the following text in English, and if it is in English, keep it the same. I mean, we don't want to change if it's already in English, right? So that's the intent. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, the only reason I asked is because presumably these chat GPT things take time to process. So I was just wondering if we already knew it was English, do we have the ability to use a conditional if block to prevent sort of wasting time on the thinking of this?
Yeah, you could do it here itself, right? You can, if it is in English, you have an if else activity, right? So you can just use it and let the workflow in that direction.
Great, thanks.
Okay, next we are going to translate, obviously, the body to English, right? This goes to the description of my Jira ticket, just so you know. Again, we will have the same prompt. Open expression editor and paste it with additional body preview, right? So at this time, at this point in time, we have successfully translated the subject and the entire body of the email so that we can create an issue in Jira. Now, what we want to do is, I think this will help you in understanding how we can do conditional steps. So what we want to do is obviously set the priority of the ticket. Now, if the email has a high priority, we want to assign high priority to the Jira ticket. Otherwise, we want to assign minor or normal. So for that, we are just going to append this condition. And I'll explain what I'm doing. You can optionally use the condition builder also, but I'm just more familiar with using expression editor. What I'm doing is I am checking what the importance of the email is. Here we see the event. Actually, let's do this. Email received, and then we should have some property called importance in here. There we go. And since this is not a string, we will convert it to string and say hi. Okay, so basically, if the importance of the email is high, then what do we want to do? Else, what do we want to do? If it is high, then let's set a variable and we name it set priority, right? It can be a text variable, to be honest. We saved it. Here, we will set variable value, right? That for this variable, that is set priority, make it critical. Else, again, we will choose set variable value and we will set it to normal. And we can choose the same variable in here. Great. So we have also deduced the logic for assigning the priority of the Jira ticket with this condition. Now, what we want to do is really set up the response that we will send to the customer via reply. So again, same thing, we will choose generate chat completion. Let me copy the response. I have it here. I'll go to open expression editor again and paste it. Just going to replace it here with the detect language, right? Because, and if you look at the prompt really, right, I'm asking OpenAI to translate the following in, obviously, the detected language. And what's that going to be is we have received your email and we have a work item at our end for the same. This is what we are going to translate to, let's say, German in this case. Save it. Now comes the interesting part, Jira create issue. So we drag this activity here. Again, we are experiencing some slowness, but hopeful it'll load up. Fantastic. Looks like it did. Some more fields need to load. Okay. Now all we need to do is, if you know your project name, that's what you should enter. So I know that it's design test. So I will choose my project, design test. Once you select the project, obviously, if you have worked with Jira, you know that for one project, you might have different issue types. So let's see what issue types we have for design test project. We have Epic, Apollo, Apollo bug, story. Let's select UX bug, just as an example. For the summary, what are we going to choose? We are going to choose translate subject to English. That can be my issue summary. For description, okay, for description, we are going to choose the body. And we can really select this. We also see one mandatory field called reporter, and this is really a lookup. Let's say I will choose my user because I'm raising it. So you can just search with your name and email, and it'll give you the record actually for the autocomplete. So that's how we assign the reporter. Or we also have an activity to search for. I'll show. Yeah, basically you can find user by email. If you don't want to assign a particular reporter all the time you run it, you can find user by email during execution time and have that assignee in there. Just so you know. For the priority, remember we set that condition above. We are going to set that variable here. So let's say set priority. You can do a lot more. There's assignee, there's labels, components, all those kind of stuffs. But for now, I think we should be able to create the issue in Jira. What do we want to do next? We want to make sure that if my email that I received had some attachment, that those attachments should also go to Jira in real world. So that's what we are going to do now. Email message, we're going to choose the variable email received. And there are some options in here. If you want to exclude or include inline attachments, I'll keep it as is. Next, we want to select again the Jira activity and choose add issue attachment. Load it, fine. For the attachment, we are going to select the upstream activity, that is download email attachments, and the download email attachment list. Now you will see Studio Web will automatically assign the add issue attachment within a for each, and that's done automatically. And you can see it here. For the issue, we are going to again select a variable, which is the output of create issue key. So we are done with this. all we have to do now is send a reply back to the customer. Reply to email. And we have constructed our email already, which is, I forgot to rename the activity. So let me rename it. Yeah, this one. So this is construct reply to email. That's my activity. All we have to do is, again, very similar to download issue attachment. We have to select the email received variable in here. Looks fine. And for the body of the email, we are going to select this construct reply to email, the top generated text, separate with a space, and again use the issue key. Now, once I run this workflow, you'll be able to understand what exactly happened, right, all this time. So obviously my trigger, my workflow is triggered with the email received event. So what I'm going to do is construct a new email. I'm going to send it over to me for now. For subject, we are going to use this subject in German. Sorry. Zoom windows are sometimes pain. Okay. And for the body, we are going to use this. Let's also attach a couple of files in here. So let's see, I'll choose this and this. Awesome. Let's send it to myself. So from sent items, I'll bring it to inbox. There is my email. Now I am all good to start my workflow. Fingers crossed. I hope everything works as expected. I started building the project. It'll initialize all the activities next, and then slowly start running the steps of the workflow. Got a nice pointer in here to showcase where exactly the runtime is. Ran successfully. Still running. It's here. Set the variable. Constructed the reply. Created an issue. And replied to my email. Now let's go back to my email and there you go. We actually replied to the customer back in German. Let's see how OpenAI did perform here, right? So did pretty well. You have received your email and have a work item on our end for it. The Jira ticket ID is DT121. Let's go and check how it looks. Okay, so basically the Jira integration has failed. I hope this does not happen with you guys. And that's the description. We need your immediate attention to resolve this problem. And you can also see the 2 attachments got added to the Jira ticket. That's all I had to showcase. I hope you found it interesting. Over to you, Charlie, for Q&A and questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Samrat. How about if we go right away to one question, which I'm interested in hearing your response to. is it possible to translate different languages from other software such as SAP?
Yes, obviously you can. I mean, all you need to do is, map that field, within SAP, which you want to translate to some other language. You can really use anything. It all depends on how you prompt OpenAI or any AI in that case.
Okay, thank you. So just a little housekeeping here. We definitely want to share with you some assets, which you can go to right now with the QR code. The blog on the left has just been published, and it contains several pre-recorded demos, which have different business objectives. You'll recognize the author of one of those, and that's Samrat Datta, who's here and here, there, and everywhere, if you work it right. Additionally, we have asked a question of you in terms of your experience with Jira, if you've had any experience, and those that question, or rather the form to use to answer this, if you would, is found in the chat. So the first one is, what has your Jira experience been like? What enhancements would you suggest? So it's kind of a part one, part two. And then more broadly speaking, we're asking you if you have, given the mission, the charter of this particular series, we'd like to know if there's a particular connector from the catalog you'd like us to focus on. We'd be happy to do that. And while you hopefully are filling out the responses, I have a couple of questions of my own, Samrat. Number one would be, what are the next set of planned enhancements on the Jira roadmap?
Yeah, so couple of items, right? We are planning, so right now we only support events via polling for Jira, but going forward, we have planned at least on the 24/4 roadmap, we are going to plan webhooks for Jira, so that's on our radar. We are also going to plan uploading attachments to Jira, which is now a little bit cumbersome. That's this, and there are a couple of enhancements on issue transitions, because the moment you select a transition within Jira, you can actually have your own custom fields. It's really about how you kind of create your own workflow within Jira. So those enhancements are also coming. Just like we loaded the fields once you selected the project and issue type, that's something, it's going to be something alike.
Okay, thank you very much. We encourage you now, if you haven't, but you have a question, to please put it in chat, or you can do as Brian did about 15 minutes ago, which is just come on in. We don't mind this. In fact, we encourage interactivity. That said, I'm going to take over one more time with another question. Samrat, since the properties of create and update issue in design time and runtime will differ in most of the cases, is there a suggestion on how we can map all these fields during execution?
Yeah, that's a great question, Charlie. And we have heard this question in the past as well. So basically, I'll explain what the problem is, right? Because in Jira, you can have multiple projects, right? Where you want to essentially create the issue, but during design time, you can set the project and issue, but during runtime, how do you even control that, right? So our suggestion will be, in that case, you can go ahead and create a project of your own within Jira, where you you kind of have all the extensive fields that you might use within your project, right? That way, when you assign variables to your project key and issue type, you get all the fields, right? And you can map all of them. If some field has value, it will get populated to your project, to your issue in Jira. Otherwise, that will be a blank value. That's our recommendation. And I think this is also present in our documentation. So please feel free to read that if you are not able to understand.
Right, great. Thank you very much. I don't see any additional questions. Diana, tell me if I'm wrong about that.
No, I didn't see any either.
Oh, okay. So assuming there's not going to be a sudden plethora of questions, we want to thank everybody. This is a series that you can expect to find right here, wherever you might be, once a month. And again, we're very interested in, given the size, the depth and breadth of the integration service connector catalog, we're very interested in hearing what you would like to learn about in more detail. In the meantime, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Samrat, and have a great rest of the day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. And just before we drop, I would like to extend another message. If you have any feedback on Jira, please feel free to reach out to me over LinkedIn, and we'll make sure that your feedback is being heard. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you until next time.